was one of those things that really shook my self-worth and how I perceived myself. At this point, it's like 16 plus universities. And I was working so hard and I just broke down crying. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it too much. And I still didn't get in. So it really felt like maybe they're right.
Today, Bunmi Agusto is a celebrated artist and a graduate of Oxford and Central St. Martin's. She's a Bloomberg New Contemporary, exhibiting her work from London to Lagos. But before the accolades, her journey was defined by rejection from the very institutions she was told would define her success.
What specific failure story are you going to share with us today?
From my sixth form days. So when I was...
Okay, that's taking it back.
Yeah, I mean, going through failure, you have to... I think teenage years are brutal. Yeah. And I think it can be extremely damaging. And mine did mess with my psyche for a couple of years. It took me a while to get back into who I was probably meant to be. So it was one of those things that really shook my self-worth and how I perceived myself. So when I was 16, I moved to the UK and I went sixth form in Kent. And it was a very competitive school. And it was one of those schools where your value as a human being was placed in your academics very much. So it was one of those schools where everyone had done their HCSEs and gotten 10 A stars, and that the people who got 9 A stars and 1 A were whispered about, being like, oh my gosh, did you hear that she got 9 A stars? And I got much less than that. I got like 5 A stars, but thankfully it wasn't really discussed back then because it would have even made it worse. But yeah, I think the failure bit, I think one, actually getting those 5 A stars, so I'll say my grades from age 16 to 18 were less than what was expected of me. So I think prior to then, I was used to getting really high grades and people expected that from me. And even subjects where I hadn't even ordinarily performed great, I had teachers who just knew me and expected the world of me naturally. And there were subjects that I'd never even gotten a B in. And suddenly they're like, oh, you can get an A star. I'm like, how? How's that going to happen? So by the time I even did my HCSEs, I got grades that were lower than what people thought. And it was something that lots of people whispered about, like when I was in school, like even in Nigeria. And then when I came to the UK, I'd already gotten into a good school anyway. So I did that, but then the environment was much worse than the school I went to in Nigeria. The school I went to in Nigeria, like they still valued being a well-rounded individual and not necessarily basing so much of your worth in just your academics. But the school I went to in the UK was bad for that. And we did IB, and even then...
That's the international baccalaureate.
Yeah, international baccalaureate. So for context, for the IB, the maximum scores, the maximum points you can score is 45 points. And the world average was 29. To pass the IB, you have to get 24 points. World average 29. World average at my school was 40 points.
Gosh.
And 10% of the people who got perfect scores 45, like in the world, like in those years, came from that school. So it was, again, one of those schools where when you get your predicted grades, if you're under 40, they kind of look at you like you're the dumbest people in the world. And it was also one of those schools that once I arrived, they were like, oh, what's your name? What are your high-level subjects? Oxford or Cambridge? And I'd always be like, neither, because I wasn't very interested in going to either. And then when I would say no, they were like, oh, so Ivy League. So I was like, maybe. So I was applying to both UK, US universities. So by this time, I think I was still a math, IT oriented person. So when I was in Nigeria, I was known to be really good at math and IT. I was equally good at arts, but people didn't pay as much attention to that. So by the time I moved to England, I did high level math, arts, and physics, but I didn't have as much chemistry in my teachers as I did in Nigeria. So even when I struggled, I didn't have the comfort to go to them and be like, oh, I need help with this. Can you help me out? So my physics started faltering, my math started faltering, but then the teachers that I really got on with were the art teachers. And so eventually I started gravitating towards studying arts. Initially I was going to do math or like software engineering.
So this is when you were in your school in the UK?
Yeah. So that's when the shift happened. And then...
So like, what were the emotions that you were experiencing during this shift? Like, how was it feeling? Were you feeling isolated? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what were you thinking?
I had come into the school very confident and self-aware. And it was one of those things that I'm like, well, my value isn't based on this, but when the world around you is telling you that it is, you kind of start questioning your
based on your academics.
my academics. When everyone around you is then telling you that actually it is, and there's actually one of those critical points where it is, because applying to university is when people are going to, you're literally an application. That is what you are to these people. So it was very confusing and yes, isolating, even though you did put that word in my but
it felt like it was. I mean, just from looking from afar, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was also, but also had this mood of I can't come and kill myself at the same time, because I think I've always tended to lean towards what comes naturally to me. So if you ask my classmates from back then, because I didn't have the comfort of going to my teachers, I would just be in my room, maybe playing Sims or something.
Okay, I mean, that actually leads on to my next one. How did you handle these emotions well, if at all? Like,
but in terms of actually what the emotions hits a high, because again, it was
a high as in a low, a negative thing.
A negative high. So, I'm talking about when it toppled over, because like I said, I'm applying to universities at this point, and I initially, because at the end of the day, I applied to 12 universities in total. 5 in the UK and the rest in the US.
Unis, I applied for 5.
Exactly, and UCAS is just one application, but when you apply to US, every single university requires something different. And when you're applying for arts, you're also giving portfolios, and they all require something different. So this school wants to see that you can do really good still life drawing. This school wants to see that you're really conceptual and you can do this. And some schools also would have prompts to make specific artworks for them. So it was a lot of work.
Wow.
And then I was also going to apply to Ivy League schools, because that's how that had been put in my head for so long. And even before I got to England, it was one of those things that, like, when we would go to Stanford or like Harvard or something. So yeah, I was going to apply to Yale and Columbia and Brown and Stanford. And I remember I was, again, at this point, it's like 16 plus universities. And I was working so hard. And again, these schools also have, beyond the common app essay, they also have their own specialist
How long
essays.
is this whole process? Like,
applying to universities is the worst, like the US universities.
From when to when? Like,
I don't remember, but it's like a year long. Outside my IB classes, I also had to go do ACT training. And so I'm constantly having so many classes. I'm constantly doing activities, because IB includes your extracurriculars.
Yeah.
And I'm having to go to the art studio and make these multiple works, and these universities are requiring like maybe three further essays each. And I remember I was in the airport with my dad heading back to Nigeria one day, and we're just walking down the escalator, and he asked me something about my university applications. I couldn't even get the word. I just broke down crying.
Wow.
And he was just like, so what's happening?
He just he's like, yo, I was just asking.
I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too much. And he was like, calm down. You don't need to do this. I had a full-on breakdown in the airport. And he was like, yeah, you don't need to. And even beyond that, because this is even before I even put in the applications. It's just even me prepping for it. And then when I went to meet with the school counselor, with the university counselor, I was predicted at 37, and like I said, below 40 in that school.
It's the end of the world.
Yeah, and so when I said, okay, I want to apply to the art schools, but I also want to apply to like Yale, Columbia, and Brown, and it was just like, hey, don't even bother kind of vibe. And I was like, yeah, no, you're not going to get in, so don't worry about that.
Goodness. So like, basically, you didn't feel any kind of support.
The funny thing is that I felt support in the arts way. So for example, I hadn't actually met the university counselor woman at first, but then when she saw me, she was like, "Oh, you Bunmi, like you have a really good recommendation letter. Like you have a standout recommendation letter. Grades were not necessarily there, but it was like I had the best recommendation letter, and that's what she knew me for. But it was like, well, it's still not going to get you into the Ivy League schools. And it's weird because I was applying for arts, and so my portfolio would have been what mattered more than the grades you would think. But still, yeah, no, they were like, don't even bother. It became a long-term issue, because that's what I remember in terms of it coming as a very damaging time in my life. So even by the time I got to uni, it was still a problem I was dealing with. And I had like severe anxiety. I used to break down all the time. Like I'll just be an Uber going home, and I'll start having a panic attack, and like can't sleep till like 4 a.m. because I'm like crying and nothing has happened. So
actually, I was even like, doesn't it kind of dovetail again? I was asking you what the failure was.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just like what exactly
What the
was?
failure
Yeah.
was because I think I did also end up applying to Brown. That ended up being the only Ivy League school I applied to, and Syracuse, and then the rest were art schools. And I didn't get into Brown because it was like, okay, I'm going to I try one Ivy League school and try and prove them wrong. And this is probably like the most artsy of the Ivy League school, and I still didn't get in. So it really felt like maybe they're right kind of moments. But I ended up getting into all the other schools, and actually getting lots of money thrown at me by the art schools. Because I think I got 5 scholarship offers, and I think like now in that school, even though they didn't value me at the time, I actually hold the record for most scholarship offers in a single year.
So it's in a weird sort of way. So like, you didn't get into the Ivy Leagues.
Mm-hmm.
You got into the art schools, and you were in that shift anyway. You were kind of like shifting when you got there from the sciences into the arts. And then you've also mentioned how you would periodically break down in terms of panic attacks based on the expectations that you felt that were on you. So I guess the question is, like, what strategies did you employ? Like, what mindset shifts? Like, what did you do in order to kind of like handle this or deal with this?
Yeah, so those that ended up coming. I applied to universities in 2016, 2017. I would say the strategies that ended up helping came in late 2019, early 2020. That's what I mean by it was long-term damaging. So I ended up doing confidence coaching with Tiwalala Ogunlesi, and it was one of those. She had done the university tours, and she had randomly attended one of her speaking sessions, and it involved like writing negative thoughts about yourself and tearing people up. And I was like, that's not. I wasn't buying into it. So I was like, no, I don't think that's going to do anything for me. But I got to a point. I think I'd gone to therapy as well at this point, and I didn't find it helpful. I could have also just not had like the perfect good right fit for the therapist. And I did this coaching with Tualala, and because eventually I just knew that my main issue beyond needing general therapy that most people should have was that I had really low self-esteem. And what Tualala was offering was confidence coaching. But I think eventually I heard her speaking about the science of it and talking about retraining one's neural pathways to think more positively about itself. So it's like, okay, I buy into that more than the paper tearing bit. And yeah, it's something that I think we joked about when I had the session. I was like, I was very skeptical first. And she was like, yeah, she could. So we ended up doing 5 sessions, and it's one of those.
Over what period of time?
And
5 how long was each session?
Maybe a bit of an hour, or about an hour.
Was this in person or over Zoom?
It was in person. The first 4 sessions were in person, and then lockdown happened, and the last session was online.
Oh wow! So it was just
it was just then.
Oh, it was just around the time just after I met you. Just after that time.
Yeah, you met me a few months after.
Yeah,
that's
interesting.
So when I did confidence coaching with Tualala, it was one of those things. That again, we had to write down my negative thoughts about myself and counter it with actual truths from my life and provide evidence for that. So it was a whole structured way of thinking. And
I didn't get that. You had to write.
We had to write down the negative thoughts that I had about myself that were kind of like fueling the low self-esteem, and then we would write down the negative thoughts, and then we would write the counter thoughts. Really, so it's again about retraining your brain. So it's like whenever this pops up, you have to have like the counter thoughts ready. It's like that's how it worked. She can explain it better. But that was basically it. And one of the things she tried to teach me, I guess, was that self-worth was intrinsic and I didn't have to do anything to earn self-worth as a human being, which I still struggle with up to today. And it was actually one of those things that she was telling me that, and I wasn't a passive participant. She was like, self-worth is intrinsic. I was like, is it? Let's discuss this philosophically. Is it?
Yeah, that's a difficult one, even for me, because a lot of us still tie our self-worth to our so-called accomplishments.
Yeah.
Right? And what are these accomplishments? It's I don't know, whatever your vocation is, what you're working as.
Or like your personal life, like whether you're married, whether you have children, like those kind of things, the metrics that you value in
So
other
then
people.
what was the thing? Your self-worth should be tied to what?
Should be interesting. Like you don't have to earn self-worth. You matter because you exist. And I was like, do I? Does the world think that way? Is like we might.
I mean, there's a human rights charter, right? We all have, in some way, shape, or form, where apparently we're all equal, but we're not all treated equally.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was discussing with her, where we're having that back and forth.
See me, I'm just rubbing my head because I'm just trying to,
Yeah, so imagine
I'm really
you're
thinking
trying to
about
fix yourself, and you're like, and the person's telling you how to fix yourself. I'm like, because she was like, I have a tendency to intellectualize things.
I do as well.
Exactly. I was like,
I'm literally rubbing my head. I'm just like trying to like.
Yeah, so actually, I didn't understand it until recently, in terms of I think receiving love from people and receiving respect from people. Because I was hanging out with my cousin, who you know, my younger cousin, and she was going for I think she got an internship, and she was just joking like, "Oh, I got this internship. Do you love me? Or are you proud of me, or something like that?" And I was like, "You don't need to do a thing for me to care more."
Did you say, "Do you love me?" or "Are you proud of me"? Because if she said,
no, do you
love
no,
me, then that means like, okay.
She said proud.
Okay. That's good. Do you love me? It would be scary because it would be like, well, like you should love me more now because I got this intern.
So you're like, are you proud of me? And I was like, I'm proud of you every single day. Like every single time I hang out with you, like I'm in love with the human being that you are. You don't need to get an internship for me to care about you.
It's hard.
So that's kind of when immediately I said that, I was like, oh, I don't apply that to myself, though. I don't think that other people have that with you. But it's about who you value in life, and if those people value you. So I don't care about what strangers think. So it's one of those things where, yeah, if strangers judge me by these random metrics, okay.
I mean, things like LinkedIn don't help as well. Then in terms of like
I have fun with LinkedIn.
social accomplishments and things like that. I'm not dissing LinkedIn, by the way.
You love
just
LinkedIn.
In case,
you can't even pretend.
Just in case, like I get sponsorship down the line, like by LinkedIn, y'all sponsor me, man. I don't mind that. But yeah, like I mean, on the program I finished, the MBA program I finished, prestigious one, quote unquote, and a lot of people like. There's a lot of disruption in the world right now in terms of like work and like getting work, and just a few people haven't got a job, or maybe they got a job and they got let go, and they've just trying to figure out like not having a job during this time and being very driven, very successful people is just very, very difficult for them, even if they had the finances to back them up. So a lot of people are just like, you tie a lot of us tie our worth and value to what we do in terms of a job, so I mean, Nigeria, engineer, whatever, architect, this, there's always a title, and those titles tend to be around what your job is.
Yeah, because in the last year I was having a conversation with a friend, and he was asking me not what my aim is with my work. I think that wasn't the question, but I think I expressed a sentiment of wanting to go down as one of the Nigerian greats in arts. And he was like, but that's not why you do it though. I was like, no, that's not why I do it. But he basically said, if I make work and no one sees it, will I think that I've failed as an artist? Like if I keep on making the work that I make and no one sees it, like if I just lock it all away in the vaults, will I think that I've failed? Will I think that I'm a bad artist?
I think as humans, you want validation somehow. No?
Some people don't.
But yeah, some people, I mean, aren't we like sapiens, right? We're like social beings. Like you may still want validation from family.
Yeah. But in terms of, I think the structure of the industry right now and exhibitions and social media and this constant presentation to the outside world and seeking validation from that, as opposed to, am I doing the work? 'Cause I think at the end of the day, what makes me happiest when I'm working is when I create the work and I look at it in the studio before it even leaves my studio whatsoever. I'm like, that's a good one. Yeah. And when I'm able to connect ideas in a very special way, that's when I feel the most gratification. I don't feel the most gratification when I'm at an exhibition opening and everyone is like, "Oh, you're doing great." I was like, "You haven't really looked at the work yet." So,
Yeah, I mean, they're seeing a bunch of people there, and the marketing and everything is like, this is a prestigious place. You went to prestigious institutions, and there's a certain number of people here, so you're doing well. That's the marker, I guess.
Yeah, people. Yeah, it's really weird when you don't do that for yourself, but then when you have to step outside or something. So, for example, when I spoke at a conference recently, and it's like provide a bio, and it's one of those things that it's like, oh, okay, how do I present myself to the outside world? And even when you don't want to notice these metrics for yourself, you kind of have to.
They're still there.
Look back and oh yeah, I've done this.
I've done some good stuff.
I think I've also not internalized how young I am most of the time.
Exactly. You got all the time in the world, Joe, man. Don't overthink it. And I think tying it back to the sessions you had, like, how did the support contribute to your growth?
I mean, the techniques were very useful because it's the techniques and also just like the lessons itself. The more targeted listening to me speak about how I think of myself, I mean, well, actually, let's correct that. So it's things like when I was in art school, I could make a piece. I'm like, this is not satisfactory because, for example, we couldn't sit in an exhibition near Yinka Shinimbari's work and like hold ground. And where even my teachers would be like, is there a reason why you're comparing your work to someone who has decades of experience on you? So I had a comparison problem, which is also really hard when you're in art school and everything's subjective. And so you're just doomed if you're going in thinking about comparing yourself to other people. And so it was, whenever I was end up comparing myself in some ways, Tiwa would always kind of like blinkers, like kind of like tunnel vision, stop looking. So whenever I find myself doing that, my brain kind of just goes like tunnel vision, like stop looking or stop comparing. Like I can look but not compare.
So she was saying, get on with what you're doing and don't focus on the others, and that's how.
Because actually, I'd expressed to her that I noticed that.
Like, what were your metrics then?
My metrics then.
I mean, in terms of growth from that, like, what did you get?
It's about me determining what my metrics should be. Not so. For example, I can look at an artist's career trajectory, and be like, oh, they did 10 exhibitions this year. Okay, that doesn't really mean anything. So is it okay? This person showed at this institution that really values the way they work, and this person showed at in like different countries, so like they expose the reach. But it's even when it's about reach, I think it still matters that the people who engage with the work value the work, and you can't always control that. So again, it's one of those things that you might end up being a bit doomed. But it's not about this person showed 3 exhibitions, so I have to do 3 exhibitions.
Okay, so that, would you say that's what you would have done before this? You would have been like, this person showed it what X number of exhibitions, and now it's more like, no,
hypothetically, because I was still in university, so I was
true.
doing that. But it was more of because I was still getting grades. At this point, so it's like I have to get an A, and it's art, so it's really like, what does that even mean? It's a good.
I mean, this kind of dovetails into the final questions around this, but I mean, speaking to upcoming artists, people that I remember, I went to one of your showings recently, and your sister came with a friend of hers, and I think she had like 4 or 5 kids or something, and one of them was like introduced to you as like, oh, she wants to be an artist. I guess the question to you is like, based on this failure story that we've kind of like gone through, what are the 3 key takeaways for younger people, for other people watching, aspiring artists, people who are currently artists? What are the 3 takeaways that you would give to them?
I think when I spoke to that young lady, what I tend to say to aspiring artists, especially children, is to play and to enjoy play. And because you get older and you don't get to play as much. Hopefully you get to, but sometimes you don't. And so it's even when I was in Lagos and hanging out with my my nieces and nephews and drawing with them, but also where there's a lint roller and it's rolled on some paint. I'm like, this is a sculpture. We can show this as a sculpture. So it's just kind of expanding their thinking and not limiting them, because I also had issues with that when I was in art school, about limiting myself to what I thought was okay to do. So yeah, it's about, so I'll say one lesson is to play and not limit your imagination. 2, compatibility, because that's another thing that I really discussed with Tualola in terms of, again, looking at the institutions that I applied to for university, I'd be being rejected by some and tell me not to even bother with some, but then getting scholarships from the others. So don't think of rejection as you're not good enough, but think of rejection as it was incompatible at the time. So I think I tend to apply that to all areas of my life now. That if something doesn't work out, I was like, yeah, just wasn't right time or right fit or right generally.
Okay, that's how you explain it. Nothing about the universe or anything like that. It just wasn't meant to be, as it were.
It could be the universe. It could be, for example, was I meant to go to Yale and be stressed out by their metrics of, as opposed to maybe going to CSM and being a bit more loose, or maybe whether I was meant to go to UCL. I mean, whatever happened. I actually do often think about what my work would be like if I had gone to different art schools. But that's a whole other thing. But then again, I can see people's practices, and sometimes I can see someone's artwork and tell which schools they went to.
Interesting.
And I don't give CS. I would say.
So what do you give based on your work?
I think...
Is it one of the institutions you ended up going to afterwards?
No, I think I'm quite a concoction. Because if we're like, oh, Central St. Martin's, no, I'm a bit too neat in some ways. And you can see the Central St. Martin's coming through and how...
They're just different, man. It's really different.
It's like I can be weird. It's like I'm quite...
Yeah,
like,
you are weird.
Exactly, I'm weird.
You're definitely weird.
So it's when I get into the...
That CSM weird is just... There's levels, man. But like,
so
I respect
the thing that my
that
weirdness doesn't come out in my presentation. It comes out more in my process. That's where the CSM comes in. But, yeah.
Yeah, you're still...
Yeah, you speak to me, I'm weird. Like,
yeah, you are weird, but you're also weird. You're weirdly analytical and like functional and straightforward. Like you have like a system in place which doesn't give super arty. I don't know how to explain it, but then you've got weird vibes as well. It's just, I don't know how to explain it.
Thank you.
Good weird
Thank
vibes.
you.
Don't worry. I don't mean bad weird vibes. I mean good weird. We're all weird. Look at me digging my hole, man.
I'm a happy weird person. I love it. Well, no, because I think because CSM has that weird thing in the process, and then so has offered me like that grounding in West African art history that I always wanted, that I couldn't get at CSM. And you can see that in the work where I draw a lot from West African aesthetic history.
Yeah.
And then the Oxford kind of like the Ruskin in general, just offering that finesse but still allowing room for play and experimentation.
Okay. And what was the third lesson?
Oh yeah, my third lesson. What should my third lesson be? I mean, not placing your value in yourself, in your self value in your work, but that's easier said than done. I think it's about defining. I think people really need to take time to define their values. That's actually something. That's another thing we did in the coaching sessions, where I had to write down my values as a human being.
Interesting.
And judge myself by that.
Can you mention what these
are? Oh gosh. I know I had like 12, so it's quite a few. There was some where like honesty was there.
That you're honest.
Yeah, okay. I like being honest. It's like if I don't want to answer a question, I might not answer it rather than lie.
Yeah, I can't imagine you lying about anything.
Yeah, I think even when I lie, I make it obvious that I'm lying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if you ask me 4 times 3, I'm like 10. Yeah, obviously. So I'll make it obvious that I'm evading
you actually
the question.
Straightforward.
Yeah, I'm quite straightforward. So that and kindness was obviously there. I think that should be everyone's.
You're generally kind to me.
Do you have something you'd like to express?
No, I think if you're, I think
I tease you a lot.
yeah, you tease. You're full mean, but you're not actually. It's obvious that you're not
That I'm
deliberately.
joking.
But you're joking.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we play lots of video games together.
Yeah.
That's what it means. It's like our trash talk. Yeah, that's
but then you could get irritated. I can be irritable. See?
no, you can be irritating.
Oh my
and
god.
and it's honest of me to react.
Exactly. No, as long as you're keeping it 100.
Yeah.
Which you do.
I'll be like, you're annoying me.
Okay. I did find it refreshing. The person won't be named, but you talked about somebody that you found annoying. I can't even elaborate. And I was like, oh yeah, I actually find that person really annoying as well. It's just quite
like,
straightforward.
But I think I would like the same way I tell you that I find it annoying. It's kind of thing that
you tell me.
I recently met someone and I was, oh yeah, I've heard of you, and he was like, have you heard good things? And I was like, mixed reviews.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm also not a snitch. I'm not going to be like, oh, this person told me this about you. Yeah, I've heard mixed things, but it's like we're interacting. Let's see what you bring and what. Because I'm also one of those people that with friends, I'm not going to, if one friend doesn't get along with the other, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't be friends with you. Unless it's a very deep issue. Because sometimes there are things that they're not compatible on that we are compatible. There's some issues that some people cannot handle. And there's some issues that I can handle. So it's like, oh, this person doesn't answer my texts. It's like, I don't answer people's texts. I don't care.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Not this person cheated on me.
Yeah.
That's a completely different one.
Those are different issues.
And you've mentioned somebody like that I know you, like, you're not going to be friends with them. Like, yeah.
I do. I mentioned things to you. I don't even.
Yeah. All right. No, I really appreciate your time. And I'm going to, like, quickly hit you with some rapid fire questions that you have to answer for our audience. So the first one is, what's one book you would recommend to people? Basically.
I recently read By a Letter by Isabella Allende. It's a fictional biography of a 100-year-old woman. And it's one of those things that, like, life is long. You can kind of have different chapters. I could stop being an artist in 6 years and have a whole new career and still be fulfilled and live a life.
Okay. What's a quote you live by?
No is a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence. Elaborate.
I think either Mary Kate or Ashley said it during an interview. And also, because they're growing up as child actors, and people are like, "Oh, can you do this?" And it's like, "No."
Damn. Okay. And why is that something?
Just because I think often in the world there's some people who are really good debaters and some people who are also really good gaslighters. And sometimes even if when you want to put up a boundary, some people can find their way to talk you around it and convince you that you're being neurotic about something when that's just simply a boundary and you're not comfortable with that. And so no is a complete sentence. Like don't try and goad me into anything. No.
Okay. What's one skill you think everyone should have?
These days, probably like financial literacy.
I think they should be teaching that in school. Like,
they don't teach it enough.
They don't.
Which is part of the system, you know.
Oh God, the man.
Part of handicapping people here, you know.
Yeah, I'm listening to a whole bunch of podcasts on financial literacy, and I need to get up to speed ASAP Rocky. Even though I did an MBA.
ASAP Rocky. Wow.
Yeah, I like using ASAP Rocky. The phrase. What's something you've learned about yourself in the past year?
That I'm young.
What does that mean? That you have time to do whatever you want to accomplish? What does that mean?
Yeah, to pace myself. I think I've been on since I was born. And like you said, in terms of I have been able to accomplish a lot in a
frontal lobe.
My frontal lobe is not developed. It's not one of those things that I'm like, oh, it probably has. No, I'm telling people it hasn't.
That's just.
There's no way I'm doing the rest of life like this. I need more brain.
What's one habit you're trying to build or break?
Eat less sugar, and take my general health a lot more seriously.
Okay. There's two more. I think there's two more questions. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would that be?
Easy
Why?
one. My dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. What does success mean to you?
Flexibility, comfort, independence.
Elaborate on all three of them.
Because, I mean, it's one of those ones that I don't need the most money in the world. But it's like, if I need somewhere to put my head to sleep, like to get a house, that's comfort. If it's about having a car to go to somewhere, it's like, that's comfort. And independence is like, well, I don't have, I'm not a fan of the 9 to 5. I'm an artist. I tend to work on my own schedule, and I don't answer to anybody, really, which I value a lot.
No, that's it. No, but thank you, Bunmi. Really appreciate your
You're
time
welcome,
today. And I can't believe we've done it. We've done the podcast.
You did it.
Woo!
You have your podcast.
Cheers. My stomach is rumbling. Thank you for listening to Growth Through Failure, where we overcome failure one story at a time. Enjoy the episode, then like, subscribe, and share with your circle. Remember, failure is a stepping stone to success. So stay resilient, stay curious, and embrace the power of failure.